The London penthouse was quiet, but it no longer felt like a sanctuary. It felt like a trap. Following Julian's brilliant countermove in Scotland, the media had gone into a frenzy. The tabloids that once called him a ruthless machine were now praising him as Britain's most protective and romantic billionaire. Clara stood by the floor-to-ceiling windows of the master suite, looking down at the city lights. On her finger, the massive emerald-cut diamond caught the reflection of the glass. She was exhausted. The pressure of smiling for the paparazzi outside the building, of pretending to be blissful, was draining her soul. The heavy door opened and Julian walked in. He had discarded his suit jacket and tie, and his white shirt was unbuttoned at the collar. He looked tired, but his gray eyes were as sharp as ever. "The board approved the merger, Clara," Julian said, his deep baritone cutting through the silence. "The official documents will be signed on Friday. We did it." Clara didn't turn around immediately. "Congratulations, Julian. You got exactly what you wanted." Julian paused, noticing the coldness in her voice. He walked over, his footsteps silent on the plush carpet, until he was standing right behind her. "You don't sound happy. Your mother's medical bills are paid for the next year. She is safe." "I am grateful, Julian. Incredibly grateful," Clara said, finally turning to face him. The proximity made her breath hitch. "But this weekend changed things. Out there, in front of the world, you act like you truly care. You look at me like I actually mean something to you. And then we come back here, and the ice wall goes right back up." Julian's jaw tightened. "It's a performance, Clara. We agreed to this." "But it's getting harder to know what's real," Clara snapped, her voice cracking with emotion. "When you pinned me down after your nightmare, when you held me by the lake, was that just a performance too? Because it didn't feel like business to me." Julian took a step closer, his presence suddenly overwhelming. The cold aura he usually carried seemed to melt, replaced by a dark, volatile intensity. "Do you really want to know what's real, Clara?" "Yes," she whispered, her heart hammering violently against her ribs. Julian reached out, his long fingers tangling in the loose strands of her hair, tilting her face up to his. His gray eyes were fiercely dark. "The truth is, I haven't slept a full night since you moved into my house. The truth is, every time I look at you across that desk or see you wearing my ring, I have to fight the urge to tear down every single rule we made." Clara's eyes widened. She couldn't move. She couldn't breathe. "I built those walls to protect myself, Clara," Julian murmured, his thumb brushing against her lower lip, sending a jolt of pure electricity through her body. "But you just walked right through them without even trying." Before Clara could speak, the sudden harsh sound of the penthouse security intercom buzzed, shattering the moment. Julian pulled back instantly, his mask locking back into place, though his breathing was heavy. He crossed the room and pressed the button. "What is it, Thomas?" "Mr. Vance, I apologize for the late hour," the butler's voice came through the speaker, sounding deeply concerned. "But Arthur Sterling is downstairs. He insisted on coming up immediately. He says it's an emergency regarding the merger." Julian looked back at Clara, his eyes narrowing. "Send him up." Julian turned to Clara, his voice returning to its sharp, commanding tone. "Fix your hair, Clara. The old man is checking up on us again. Whatever happens, we stand together." Clara nodded, her mind spinning. The heat of his touch was still burning her skin, but the corporate battlefield was calling them back. The elevator doors opened directly into the penthouse, and Arthur Sterling stepped out. He didn't have his usual jovial smile. He looked pale, grave, and furious. In his hand, he held a thick manila folder. "Arthur," Julian said, stepping forward, "what's wrong?" The board just approved the deal." Arthur didn't answer with words. Instead, he threw the folder onto the mahogany coffee table. It burst open, revealing bank statements, offshore account details, and private investigator reports. Arthur looked at Julian, his blue eyes icy with betrayal. "The deal is off, Julian. And if you don't explain this right now, I'm calling the police." Clara looked at the documents, her stomach dropping into a bottomless pit.